Have you ever had that feeling, that little nagging voice in your head that says, in your relationships, you're not really looking for a partner, but something else, maybe like a hiding place? This is the question, right? This is what it all boils down to. And look, we have to be radically honest with ourselves here. It's the only way to move forward. Are you genuinely looking for an equal? Someone to build a life with? Or are you secretly, maybe even unconsciously, just looking for a place to hide from all the stuff life throws at you? And this idea, this image, it really gets to the heart of what that hiding place is. It's what the source material for this explainer calls a psychic womb. You know, a space where you get this unconditional forgiveness, where you're never really held accountable for anything. Psychology actually has a name for it. It's a really well-documented archetype that explains so much about this kind of behavior. It's called the pure eternus. It literally means the eternal boy. And this term comes from the legendary psychologist Carl Jung. He used it to describe someone who deep down is just kind of stuck in adolescence. They actively push back against taking on the real, the challenging, and yes, sometimes the painful tasks of being a grown-up. So just look at this and see if any of it rings a bell. You know the type. Brilliant ideas, but zero follow-through. Grand dreams that sound amazing, but nothing ever actually happens. They're always preparing to live, waiting for the perfect moment to start their real life. Why? Because deep down, they feel the actual messy world is just too mediocre for their special potential. And often they use this magnetic youthful charm as a kind of shield to hide the fact that they're refusing to grow up. And this is what Jung called the devouring great mother. And yeah, that sounds pretty intense, doesn't it? But it's a huge piece of the puzzle here. You can almost think of it as the other side of the coin, the force that kind of enables and keeps the eternal boy, eternal. And let's be super clear on this. This is not necessarily about your actual mom, though it can be. The key word here is symbolic. It's a symbolic force. It could be a partner, a family dynamic, even a job that keeps you safe and comfortable. But it comes at a massive cost, your autonomy. In exchange for all that protection, it demands your total dependence. And this is where the difference just becomes crystal clear. Look at this. A real partner, they offer you equality. They challenge you to be better. They hold you accountable. You grow together by confronting your flaws. But the psychic womb, it offers something totally different. Unconditional forgiveness, an escape from responsibility. Support that doesn't really demand anything from you. It offers protection, sure, but the price you pay is total stagnation. And here's the wild paradox in all of this. The person stuck in this pattern, they think they're preserving their freedom by avoiding commitment, by never putting down roots. But in reality, it's the exact opposite. I mean, this says it all, doesn't it? The constant search for something new, for the next perfect thing, it actually stops anything real from ever taking hold. It's simple. Without roots, nothing can grow. So the brutal truth is that this so-called freedom is actually a cage. It's what leads to jumping from job to job, partner to partner, always chasing this perfect thing that, let's be honest, doesn't exist. It's all driven by this deep fear of being truly seen or held accountable. And eventually, it just exhausts the people who love you, because they get tired of trying to pull someone along who refuses to move on their own. The fundamental rule of life is this: there is no real transformation without facing some pain. Okay, so that's the problem, and it's heavy stuff, I know. But here's the good news: there is a way out of this cycle. Now, it's not easy, but it is straightforward. It just involves paying a price. This is what's called the inevitable price of maturity. And it's inevitable because, look, if you want a real life, a life with substance, with meaning, you have to pay it eventually. You have to consciously choose the path of growth, even when it's hard. So what does that path even look like? Well, it's basically 4 steps. First, you have to just acknowledge the pattern. See it in your life with no more excuses. Second, and this is a big one, you have to accept the symbolic death of that idealized inner boy. Third, you've got to consciously cut that psychic cord to the womb, wherever you find it. And finally, you have to choose continuity, sticking with something over the cheap, fleeting thrill of newness. And let's be really, really clear about that second step, because symbolic death, I mean, it sounds terrifying, right? But this is not about killing your creativity or your sense of wonder, not at all. The whole point is this. It's about stop using those wonderful qualities as an excuse to run away from your duties. And when you do this, when you actually decide to pay that price, something absolutely incredible starts to happen. Your whole perspective on what life and freedom and power really mean, it just starts to shift. You start to realize that the very thing you're so afraid of, maturity, responsibility, commitment, it isn't a prison. It never was. That was the whole illusion. It's actually something else entirely. Maturity is the only path to real, authentic power. It's how you stop being tossed around by your fears and you start governing your own life. It's how you finally become the commander of your own destiny. So I'll just leave you with this question. If you recognize any part of yourself in this pattern, if you're just tired of running, what is the first real choice you are going to make right now as the commander of your own destiny? Because your authentic life, it's waiting for you.